Hello there, and welcome to episode 2 of the Space Opera Music Podcast, another Star Wars show, or you can just refer to us as SOMP because we love that word so much, and we hope that you do too at this point, or you will soon. So, welcome to SOMP, episode 2. So excited that you are here again, and we're excited to be here as well. Once again, my name is Ashton over in Florida in the States. And we have Tim with us in Germany. So we are what would you say, a world renowned at this point? I think we
Yes.
deserve that
Yeah.
title.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a transatlantic connection
Yeah,
through the Force.
that's right. So wherever you're joining from around the galaxy, welcome. And yeah, let's dive in.
Yes. Last week we had a little get in, little nice intro about how we came into Star Wars and Star Wars music, and we tried to summarize some of the basic knowledge that we felt was right to do in the first place. And today we're going to have a little more into a certain topic which you're about to announce. We do that, shame on us, because we very specific has done a contribution for Star Wars, which is Nicholas Bertel, who scored Andor.
Yes.
How could we forget that?
How could we? The dark side clouds everything. That's what I'm going to blame it on. Yeah, we were going through all of the non-John Williams composers. Like John Williams is kind of, probably going to be our main focus at least for a while, but obviously, now we have several non-John Williams composers in the mix, all doing their own spin on things. And so we were talking about all of them, we thought, and wow, we missed a pretty big one. Yeah, Nicholas Britell, love his stuff. Like, I don't know, Tim, have you checked out his other stuff? Like, that wasn't Andor? Have you checked his stuff out before?
Just tiny bit.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
not
there's some
really,
cool,
actually.
there's some pretty cool stuff. Another conversation for another time, but yeah, he's great. And I can't believe, well, okay, so I did want to bring this up. I there's no excuse for this, but I kind of have an excuse for not remembering to bring him up. If you'd like me to tell you it.
Shoot.
So I haven't actually had the chance to watch Andor with full sound yet, like full volume yet. I've watched Andor. And I absolutely love Andor so much. Like I'm one of the fans who really loves it, for a variety of reasons. So and I've rewatched it 3 times, but all with subtitles and virtually no volume. And the reason for that is because whenever I was rewatching, watching and rewatching Andor, we didn't have Bluetooth headphones yet, like for the TV, and the only time for me to like watch Andor was at night, like after everyone's asleep, and little Elsie, is such a light sleeper. And her room is like right by the living room for us, and we have a small old house, thin walls. Even the light from the TV will wake her up sometimes. Like she's a very, it's been a crazy 2 years, but anyway. So I haven't actually, we got some Bluetooth capability for Christmas this past season, and haven't had a chance yet this new year to rewatch Andor. So that is my excuse.
That
If
might
that's
be
even
the
an
only
excuse.
excuse. The only one acceptable excuse.
Yeah, like I know it's on Spotify and stuff, like the albums, but I haven't dug in yet because I do want to watch it and experience it before diving in to like picking apart the music. I do want to experience Andor again with the full, volume and
Full
full
blast.
experience. So yeah, full blast. So that's yeah, that's my excuse.
For me, it was
So,
kind of the opposite because I had the honor to go to a preview, which was
oh
actually
wow,
a preview before all of you American guys, so we could see it
wow,
like, I don't know, a couple of hours, maybe 1 or 2 days before you, which is very special for Germany because you always get the stuff and
yeah,
we
we
never.
always get it first.
And it
Amazing.
was a cinema in Bavaria, and we got to watch the first 3 episodes, I guess, yeah. And in
Wow,
cinema, actually, which is another big chance you don't
oh,
get because it's made
that's
for
great.
TV, and to see it on the big screen is it's a privilege to have seen it
That's
actually.
awesome.
Yeah, and we might not get too deep into Andor now, but I really like the approach of burying the intro, because
Mm,
I was wondering how they positioned the intro. But speaking of the music, it was always like changing, evolving, getting bigger, getting more clear, from episode to episode, and that was
wow.
fascinating for me to experience actually.
Wow, that is cool. Like, see, I didn't know that. I know I saw kind of a clip of an interview with
Mm-hmm.
Nicholas talking about something like that, but again, I have all this stuff like saved for whenever I can rewatch Andor fully. So, um, yeah, that's amazing. We will,
Yeah,
yeah, I'll have to make it a point to do that soon, and we will probably have several episodes on just Andor. That'd be a cool
yeah.
segment. Yeah.
I mean, in the end, there's this whole like kind of marching band, which is very interesting because it's very big part of
Mhm.
source music we actually don't have very much in Star Wars, which is
Right.
very fascinating to me as a saxophone player and a live
Hmm.
musician, to see
Hmm.
instruments actually not in this, cantina band style in some earthish way, but as always modified to make it look like Star Wars. So you have
Right, right.
flutes which are like have certain curves
Mhm.
in it, and other instruments which look somehow as we know, but actually not. And that was
Right.
very fascinating for me to see. But we'll get into
Yeah, no,
that
that
in
was
time. Yeah.
that was yeah, that whole I mean, the whole ending there with that was pretty compelling, and yeah, I every time watching it, I was like, I really wish I could hear, like, what this sounds like. So, that'll be fun.
It's a fascinating experiment, actually, because
Hmm,
you have some expectations or some how it could be, and in time you will know
yeah,
how it is.
right.
Yeah.
Soon,
Okay, so we
hopefully.
get that. Yeah, you should actually.
Yeah, I should.
So we put that huge mistake aside, and
Yes.
I'm not quite sure if you talked about, because I was explaining the fact that on Spotify we don't have the ultimate editions of the scores,
Right.
and I was referring to the Phantom Menace, but it's the same for the OT. So the
Yep,
extended version is on YouTube as well, but not on Spotify and Apple Music.
exactly.
So
Yeah.
the full score is found elsewhere than those streaming
Mhm.
platforms. It's important to know. And I'm not sure if we got that last episode over, if it was that clear.
Ah,
I don't know.
yeah, I can't
It
remember.
doesn't matter,
Yeah, I think we only mentioned the Phantom Menace, so
yeah,
that is good to mention fully, yeah.
because yeah, that's better twice than saying it maybe twice than nothing at all. And
Exactly.
did you have any like Star Wars musical experiences in the last week since we talked?
Hmm. Hmm. Maybe not like new experiences.
Hmm.
Well, I mean, this past episode of Bad Batch was pretty intense. I didn't. I actually didn't watch it with full volume. I didn't feel like setting up the Bluetooth. I just like sat down with subtitles and enjoyed that. So I'm not sure, but I'm sure that there are some cool musical moments in that. Another one that I'll you know another season that I'll have to rewatch with full sound. But yeah, no, I this week I can't say that I did. Pretty busy week for me here. Personal home stuff. Adult stuff, dealing with car issues and so forth. So
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
didn't get a chance to really do anything fresh or new this week. So
So let us escape
yeah.
from that.
How about you, Tim? I know you have something quite cool and exciting that you should share with all of us
Yes,
that you just
yesterday
did.
there was one of my favorite events to troop at. So you might know that there is a 501st Legion, which is the world's biggest Star Wars costume. It's not a club, but a kind of organization, which is registered at Lucasfilm as well. So our motto is "Bad guys doing good." We cover all the dark side users and all the people that are not very good-hearted, but we do good stuff, like for charities, but as well as like cinema premieres or any related events that people feel the need to invite Star Wars geeks to show up in their costumes. So it's divided into garrisons all over the world. We are about 14,000 members worldwide. Yeah,
Yeah,
I think so.
sounds right.
And the German garrison is my garrison, where I had a troop yesterday in Cologne, where I premiered with my Nakina 5 prisoner, which was very
Yeah.
interesting. But so Star Wars in Concert is an event where the movie is shown on a big screen, and there's an orchestra playing the music live, which I had the chance to experience this maybe 10 times already.
Oh wow.
So
I'm
there was
so
one weekend.
jealous.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
You have to
awesome.
be jealous because it's there's an agency which is like executing this whole operation, and it's a German
Mhm.
one, and it's actually the biggest one in the world doing this kind of stuff. They do Harry Potter as well, and Lord of the Rings, and Disney in
Mhm.
concert, etc. And I had the chance to see different orchestras, different conductors, and the original trilogy like several times with live. Yeah. And so the event was again very, very nice and very memorable because show up all dressed up is very good in this sense that people are very excited to see you and take pictures with you, and
Mhm.
they basically know all the stuff about Star Wars, and all, maybe they don't know all the characters that show up, but they know actually about it. So and yeah, it was another chance to see A New Hope with live orchestra.
Oh, it was A New Hope. That's awesome.
Yeah. And there's
Wow.
every time I watch The New Hope, I get goosebumps and tears when the double sunset shows up, and
Mhm.
with live orchestra, it multiplies
Oh, yeah,
this
yeah.
this feeling.
Hmm.
So yeah, that was my experience yesterday. It's very felt good because my last troop was about 1 year ago, and it was double excitement for this event and for me to troop in general again. Yeah, so that was my Star Wars music experience of the week.
Yeah, yeah, that is an excellent musical event of the week. Yeah, even if I had one, I can't top that. I still, believe it or not, I have still not seen a Star Wars in concert live. Um, it has been on my bucket list for who knows how long, and I just haven't had a chance yet. Like they've had them around recently, but it was like, when Elsie was just born or something. It was like it just wasn't a good time for me to drive 2 hours and be gone for forever. So yeah, but that is yeah, I think it's gonna be a pretty emotional experience to do that for the first time. So
It is.
yeah,
For
hopefully
everyone
soon.
involved, actually. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, even just as musicians, like, well, and I guess for me, like as a trumpet player, like those trumpet parts are very hard and like very, and like there are very high register things and endurance, and like they're also like exposed because you're playing, you know, loudly and high, and that's a lot of pressure, man. I mean, at least for trumpet playing, like yeah. So yeah, it's cool whenever I see orchestras doing that and pulling it off, and it's like, oh man, like you're kind of, in a way, you're kind of stacking up against the London Symphony Orchestra, and that's a big deal musicianship wise, but also just to be able to sit in that seat for something so magical is another really cool thing. So yeah, a lot of different angles of emotional weight there.
Yes, that's true. And I guess I have to announce for our German listeners that there's a big announcement for John Williams to return to Berlin to conduct the Berlin Philharmonics next year, 5th. What's that? In June, 5th to 7th June, I guess.
Of 2025, right?
Yeah. And
Yeah.
the pre-sale starts at 23rd of February.
Cool.
So it's a must go for people in Germany, but yeah, maybe even in Europe. The first time I saw him was in 2019, I think. And I met people from Italy, from France, from Spain, coming all the way to see the big maestro conduct the legendary Berlin Philharmonics. And it was such a huge core memory for me to experience that.
Yeah.
Because I didn't think I had the chance. And he was 89 at this time, and he was performing all the way.
Mm-hmm.
And he was so grateful to be there, and he was very, I saw it 2 times in a row, and then the third time on a live stream from the Berlin Philharmonic's website. And
man,
this is incredible.
Yeah, I mean now's the time. Like 2025, he'll be what, 92 or 93 at that point. Depending on I can't remember what month his birthday is, but yeah, now is the time. Oh man, we'll see where we're at in 2025. If we're trying to make a Europe trip, we'll have to orchestrate it around that.
You should actually.
That would be amazing.
You could stay at my house.
Yeah, dude, I mean,
we make it work somehow.
I mean, yeah, if you don't mind a toddler running around.
No.
Like crazy, so
No,
yeah, dude,
it would be a good
we'll
frame.
see.
Yeah. You could organize around that somehow. Maybe.
Yeah.
Sweet. But have you been to the what's that? Hollywood Bowl, where he conducts once a year an orchestra?
No, I haven't.
He's still doing it, actually, right?
Yeah, he is. Yeah. No, but I haven't. I honestly haven't ever even been to Hollywood or to California. It's so far away. It's just so far away.
I've been there.
Yeah.
But I know what you mean. Yeah.
I believe it. Yeah, I mean, we have traveled. Like we have been to Norway, we've been to Iceland, we've been to the UK and Scotland, and I took a trip in college to a music trip to France for like a little like music thing. But that's really it. And in the States, I've only kind of traveled up the East Coast here, like up to New York City and Boston. that's really it. You know, I say that's really it. Like that's a lot, but there's quite a few like big places that you should go in your life that are still on the bucket list. So we'll slowly get back to travel.
Independence,
As
right?
yeah, as little Elsie grows older.
Yeah, soon.
So yeah.
So let's think about what we're going to do, because we had a little chat up front, and I want to surprise you with a bit. I want to give some thoughts, and somehow again, you told me
Insane.
that you've been talking to someone you know about Qui-Gon's funeral, right?
Yes. Yeah, just the other day I was on it's someone on Instagram and YouTube, Will over at Diamond Figs. Big shout out to Will. If anyone doesn't follow Diamond Figs, go do that. He has great content. Stays up to date with everything. Has breakdowns of his own on there, but yeah, he was having is kind of going around having other Star Wars creators on his show, and they pick their favorite scene from Star Wars and break it down like why, and just talk about it, just nerd out. And so he asked me, and I was like, yeah, totally. And the scene that I picked was, it was Qui-Gon's funeral. And I ended up talking, we ended up breaking down. It's like a minute and 30 seconds of a scene. And we talked for almost an hour about it. And, and for good reason. So yeah, before we hit record here, I was telling you, that's what I did, recently. And yeah, that's pretty funny because that was your surprise for me.
Yes, it
And
was.
the Force
But
works in
there's another
mysterious
one.
ways.
That's true. There's another one. So I'll try to make it work that we are going to hear this couple of seconds or minutes. It's the first time we're doing it live, so fingers crossed it will work out pretty good.
Cool. Yeah.
I'll try to talk in the meantime to not bore out people. But this is it. I'm going. It's from you, and this is 1 minute and 9 seconds of Qui-Gon's funeral.
What will happen to me now?
Council have granted me permission to train you. You will be a Jedi. I promise.
There's no doubt the mysterious warrior was a Sith.
Always two there are. No more, no less. A master and an apprentice.
But which was destroyed? The master or the apprentice?
Yes. Chills, man. Every time during that scene, I get
Yes.
chills.
Yes.
It's crazy.
It's crazy, and I decided to pick the video version as well, because it is so great to see how the music accompanies what is seen.
Mhm.
And having the end, which is very like unsettling, and the view to Palpatine is very, whew, man.
Yeah. Yeah, should we just kind of like break it down like as in progression of how the scene is building? How do you want to approach it?
I'll try to show you another screen with we talked last week. We talked about Frank Lehman's music catalog, right?
Yes.
Can
Perfect.
you see that? Yeah, you can.
Yeah, I can. Beautiful.
I have to scroll down so you can see that. So it's number 32 called The Funeral. And I'll try to explore for the folks who are not into reading music or like extracting what we see in this written music. So actually, it is set in a minor key, which is coded to be not happy. Actually, referred to as being sad. As far as I know, there's no scientific proof of that it's actually the case, or if it's just like always repeated, and people believe that it's like this. But let's say it's a sad mood, and the base we're starting from is slightly changing, and then getting back. So we're starting here, and getting back to after slightly movements back to the start, and then it's evolving a little more and gets more intense. More tensions are heard, and then it goes back to the beginning. That's actually somehow how I think you can frame it. How this tiny part works. Do you agree?
Yeah. Yeah. I would say so. It's yeah. It makes for a nice repeatable piece of music. It's very standard in that sense, even though the chords that are playing, and in particular how the chords are voiced, make the chords very dissonant sounding. So it's because you can play something in a minor key and have it sound sad, but like sound pretty, I guess, basic, but if you're voicing something the way John Williams is here, it just it turns it from sad to what's a good word? Grief. Grief is like a very powerful form of sadness. Being, feeling distraught, right? Like these stronger terms that are in the realm of sadness. I think that is in particular what John Williams is really masterfully conveying with this section.
Yes, and it's supported by the orchestration because it's a very it's a choir. It's very low, and it's very I'm missing some English adjectives. It's very kind of compact, so it's not very spread.
Right.
And it's
very
accompanied by
dense.
Yeah, dense. It's the word. Yeah, thank you. And it's accompanied by like just a few instruments, low strings, which are accompanying this in a very subtle way, actually, because the focus is on the choir, and there's not too much happening in the orchestra, actually.
No, compared to right before this, with Duel of the Fates, which is very choir forward, but with a full, blasting orchestral, accompaniment. So, yeah, I mean, this is a very intimate setting.
Yes.
Virtually no orchestration behind it. Very minimal. Very, yeah. It just makes for a very intimate feeling. Yeah.
Yes. So that's step one. And 2 weeks ago, I had a listening session while doing some 3D puzzling, aka Lego building. So
Nice.
I built Cat Bane's ship and needed to be some Star Wars music.
Yeah.
And it happened that I heard this, and I had to pause a minute because I looked at my phone to see which title it was, and it showed me this.
Oh man. So for those of you who well, you would, yeah, for those of you who don't know, that was, the same funeral sequence at the end of Revenge of the Sith during Padme's funeral. So yeah, I have some thoughts. Like obviously it's the same piece of music, but I have a couple of thoughts. So tell me, unless you want me to talk about it, tell me what
You
your
go
thoughts
first. You
were
go
when
first.
you.
You go first.
Okay, cool. So for one, I mean, there's a couple of like subtle orchestration differences. Like we hear the bells. I'm not sure if there are bells during Qui-Gon's, but if so, they're very much louder in this version. But I guess without picking it apart too much, like too detailed, the thing that stands out to me the most, which is my absolute favorite thing to talk about, is that last chord, the very last chord that they land on. It's my absolute favorite thing to talk about with Qui-Gon's funeral, but yeah, there is a difference between Qui-Gon's funeral and Padme's funeral with that very last chord. There's a pretty big difference that, yeah, I'll just leave it there for now. I'm sure we'll get into it.
You just can continue if you want to.
Okay, sure. So I guess I'll talk about the difference between the two. So and let me know if I'm like jumping the gun on this, but at the end of Qui-Gon's funeral, when that song ends and we get that final chord, as it happens whenever Mace and Yoda are talking, and they're like, but which was destroyed, the Master or the Apprentice, and then the camera pans over to Palpatine. So the chord that is playing there, the final chord, is I just like to call it a disgusting chord, because it's absolutely atrocious. Like, it is so disgusting. And basically basically that's because of the tension that's happening there. So what's happening, I'll try to explain this as best I can verbally. What's happening is that all of the higher register instruments in the orchestra, all of the higher register people, so woodwinds, the flutes and so forth, the higher register orchestra are playing all this crazy dissonant sounding stuff, like very eerie sounding stuff, which very much conveys those feelings of grief, but also like anxiety and mystery, because like the Jedi Council are like, oh like what is happening now, like what is this, like they're kind of, I don't want to say freaking out, but they're kind of freaking out, and there's a level of fear there. And so that, combined with grief and sadness, perfectly conveyed by the upper register instruments. However, what we have in the low register of the orchestra, so the low brass, the low strings, as well as the voices themselves, they all land on not a minor chord, but they land on a major chord, which is typically a happy thing in music when you land on a major chord, especially after a minor song, like in a minor key, and you then land on a major chord.
It's a
Makes for
satisfying end, actually. That's,
satisfaction.
That's the function
and like
of that.
like there is a level of joy there, or like light, compared to the depression that we just went through, right, with the rest of the tune. So it's a very strongly voiced major chord that is the foundation of that final chord in Qui-Gon's funeral, which is ironic because obviously the camera pans over to Palpatine. Well, Palpatine is standing there victorious during this funeral. He is the foundation of all of this, and everything is going as planned for him. So that final chord, having the low brass playing this strongly voiced major chord as a foundation, while everything else is sad and grieving up top, it's just the perfect musical visual of what we're seeing and understanding in that scene. So that's beautiful in and of itself. But what drives that point even further home is during Padme's funeral, what we just heard is the final chord. We don't get this crazy dissonant thing, that's playing. We get it just lands in the minor key and stays there. It resolves in minor. There's no like upper structure tension, things happening. It's very resolute minor, very sad. There's no
very common, actually, very common way to end a phrase like
exactly
this, or a movement like this.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. We don't, for example, we don't have
it's expectable, actually, that way.
Yeah, what we want to hear. What we hear during Qui-Gon's funeral, we our ears do not want to hear that, but we're hit with it, and it makes us go, whoa, what was that, So both beautiful iterations that match the scene, so also the fact that during that, if I'm not mistaken, that's also, it's kind of a montage that's cutting between Padme's funeral and Vader being built, right? So that's another interesting component to that. But
this is up front and way behind what we heard. So this part is actually just the marching fellows.
Oh yes, it's just Padme's funeral.
It's just Padme's funeral.
Just Padme's funeral, which makes more sense considering. Okay, that's right. Yeah, the immolation scene. That's what I was thinking of. Okay, yeah, cool. So Padme's funeral, beautiful, ends like we would expect and want, and that contrast between Qui-Gon's funeral is pretty telling. So that was my thoughts on that.
Yeah. I'm very grateful for what you just said, because I cannot add any further comments on that. But what I feel the need to add, or what my initial thought was, I was so surprised that it's almost the exact same part of music used twice.
Mm-hmm.
And I heard it before, but I didn't I could not say it's perfect, somewhat parallel between those two movies. And speaking from this music perspective,
Yeah.
And there are some slight changes, but actually it's the piece of music, but the resolution is different. And that's what makes it in general so maybe somehow different, but which makes the most it's the biggest difference of those two scenes.
I would like to, maybe I'll do that this week. I'll try to do a deep dive into the actual voicings of that song.
Sweet.
In Padme's versus Qui-Gon's, to see what differences there are. That's the best way, is just get in there with each voicing and figure that out. So yeah, I'll see if I can glean any interesting differences or results. That'd be
Sweet.
cool.
At this point, I have to say that you need to follow Ashton's Instagram, because his videos, which got me to follow him and to get to know to want to get to know him, are very 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 rich in so many ways. So go start Ashton. What's the Insta tag? Ashton Sherritt? No,
Yeah. That's all it is just at Ashton Sherritt.
yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
it's easy.
Yeah. Yeah. Just easy. Yeah. Just first and last name.
Same with me. We will add it into the show notes to make a link for you. But you need to follow it. You will find plenty of videos, breakdowns, which is a very good source to dive into music in very short time.
Yeah, I mean it's 90 seconds is what you get for reels. They actually, you know what? I found out recently, I think this was a recent update. They did allow you to upload longer videos and they just automatically turn them into the reel format. So that is helpful and kind of relieving, but it is fun to squeeze in as much as possible in a digestible way in such a short amount of time. That has been fun. Keeps it to the point, but yeah, I do like to overlay like the piano trying, like piano playing what I'm explaining, and also visuals, and like try to color code things. It makes it as educational as possible, um I am curious, should I play that last chord from Qui-Gon's funeral? If I turn my mic over here, should I play that
right now
on piano? Yeah.
Do it. Yeah,
let me try that. Let me know if like the sound.
Well, maybe we should do this and then the next episode.
In the next, yeah, that would be fine.
Yeah,
actually, yeah, because we're running.
Yeah, and there is some small details I want to drop into this whole realm of action we saw, because I just a few weeks ago I read the Queen's book trilogy with
yes.
what's the titles? I forgot the titles. Peril, Shadow of the Queen's Shadow, and
Queen's Shadow. Oh man.
And one more. So it's a very very good read, and they dropped that there is on Naboo there is a place. So the place where Qui-Gon's funeral took place is a memorial place for the for the folk of Naboo. So even though they never met him, they know the importance of what he did for this planet and for the galaxy, actually, which I find very interesting and very it's for when you dive into Qui-Gon's arcs, it fits to him because he's not buried in the Senate as usual,
right?
So he stays where he where he died, actually, and where he should be remembered. And I think it's a very nice thing to add to this whole era, or to this whole setting.
Yeah, I like bringing that aspect of his funeral. I like bringing that to light more, because that's exactly it. He wasn't like brought back to the Jedi Temple or something. Like it's where he needed to be remembered. Like they obviously were honoring Qui-Gon, and
he wanted to be, actually, because he's always like not straightforward in the Jedi Code and the Jedi Order, and he could have been on the Council for several times, but it's not his way, not his path. His path is not his destiny, so to say. So it's very it's very very fitting for Qui-Gon.
Beautiful
for the folks of Naboo. So, and in the same, when we jumped back to Padme's funeral, we see a very nice, very fitting detail as well in the Tales of the Jedi, when we see that
yes.
Ahsoka is you see goosebumps right here. When we see that Ahsoka is
Yeah.
joining the grieving folks from a distance,
Yeah.
and is then talking to Bail Organa, but that the fact that she is there gives me a different feeling when rewatching this scene the next time,
Right.
because
Exactly.
it makes it way more tragic in a way to know
Yeah.
that her friend is grieving at the moment she is there, but no one knows she is there actually.
Yeah. Yeah. She has to just take it with no support system, you know? It definitely adds a layer of tragedy there, and another layer of grief. Yeah, absolutely.
And that's why I like the way how this. So it's not a necessary detail to know, but when you see it in the Tales of the Jedi, which is a very nice concept of show, it
Mhm.
adds to what we already know. And
Mhm.
the folks from Lucasfilm have done it in the past in so many ways, which gives different levels, different new approaches, or how to view stuff we know for decades in the movies, in
Right.
the main movies.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I wanted to say. And yeah, period.
Yeah. Solid. I don't have anything to add. It's beautiful.
Yeah, it was very. I was very excited to realize that it's parallel in those two scenes. And when I got to see what Frank Lehman wrote down in the catalog, I mean, I'm going to show it to you.
Mhm.
He was on the right side. You see the episode. It's common knowledge that people know that's a parallel, but I didn't so far, and I realized that it's yeah, it was a very nice thing for me to realize. I like because I like how it's I like this moment to realize something I didn't know before, and
Mm.
to dive into it and to see what's different, or what's all the same what we just said. It's a
Yeah.
very nice feeling when you get back to the stuff you already know, and
For
you realize
sure.
something new each time, or maybe
Exactly.
not, but from time to time.
No, totally. And what's cool, I mean, what's even cooler is in Galaxy. I mean, this is obviously, they're both funerals are happening on Naboo, and with Naboo nobility there and everything. So, this is obviously in Galaxy. It could be something that's Naboo tradition, this song. I would think that the ending we hear during Padme's funeral is how it was written by the Naboo composer, whoever that was, right? In Galaxy speaking, and what we hear at the end of Qui-Gon's funeral is a very warped and just a very warped version of that, given Palpatine's presence. So yeah,
There's one thing that just came again into my mind, because the same piece in different visual contexts hits different, because
Mhm.
it is not. So at Qui-Gon's funeral, it's not set up as a what's the word for a parade with grieving people?
A
Is
dirge?
that a term? I don't know.
Is that?
So
Here,
it
let me look that up.
is somehow like a march we see during the funeral, and the music accompanies it as somehow a march. But in the first place, in Qui-Gon's funeral, it was not meant to be that way, because what the lower strings do is giving the kind of not marching rhythm, but it's accompanying in a very subtle and in a way that makes it you can walk to this accompaniment.
Mhm.
What the term?
Accompaniment.
Accompaniment, yeah.
Yeah. So dirge is the term for the musical song, like the melancholy, musical song that would accompany a funeral processional or a funeral march. So this song that we're hearing it would be considered a dirge.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe we should listen to it again.
Sure.
To both pieces of. I try to check for the video part for Padme's funeral spoil match time. So let's hear again from Qui-Gon's funeral. Here we go.
What will happen to me now?
Council have granted me permission to train you. You will be a Jedi. I promise.
There's no doubt the mysterious warrior was a Sith.
Always two there are. No more, no less. A master and an apprentice.
But which was destroyed? The master or the apprentice?
I'm just gonna slide in Padme's funeral.
Mhm.
It's 1 minute and 26 seconds. Oh no. Okay. Ooh.
Yeah.
So
I have
it is
next
goosebumps.
episode we'll have we'll have to
a
break
little
down
nerd
some
session
things.
about how to break down what we just heard.
Yes.
I think it would be a great idea. And what was very outstanding to me this time while hearing is all the what are those kinds of bells called?
Tubular bells.
Yes. I like them in
Yeah.
general, but they add something new while not being too coded as earthish religion ish.
Right. No, there's a general rich darkness about them,
Yeah.
So It definitely, yeah. I mean, we definitely are familiar with that sound in churches or like church bells or something, but yeah, it absolutely. I mean, that's a fitting thing to have in this scene. But yeah, that just sonically, that rich darkness that they provide is very, yeah, very cool.
And this boom, 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 it adds to the march of the people and in Pathoscopy. It is so fascinating to me because it's not meant to be in the first place, but it fits so well in this context. Wow.
Yeah. It adds momentum.
Yes.
There's already a lot of momentum, just like harmonically speaking, but yeah, it adds rhythmic momentum as well. So, yeah.
Sweet. I think we got a good start and approach to this, and that should be it for now, I guess. So you want to wrap it up?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I can't wait to break these things down musically for everyone. I think it is always helpful, or you get more out of it whenever you can like hear the isolated things that we're talking about. So it will be this week. This week I'll experiment with how to do that. And yeah, it should be a fun episode. Take
Sweet.
this
I'm
another
so
step
to
further.
hear it.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah. So yeah, everyone, that's it for this episode. Thank you, like we said earlier, wherever you're joining us from the galaxy. Thanks for being here. Hope you love nerding out on all this stuff just as much as we love nerding out with you. And yeah, until next time, SOMP, another Star Wars podcast here. Thank you for joining us. May the Force be with you.
May the Force be with you, and go check out Ashton's Instagram and mine too if you like to. And hear you next time. Bye.
See ya.